Fourth time, it's a charm to say. I mean, it was hard, it was difficult, but at the same time, my life's been a struggle, but I feel blessed to be able to be in the position that I am. The race was tough for everybody. I had a few issues going on, about 13 miles cramp. I don't know if I was going to make the team, but after 13, 14 miles, there was a release, and just got there and, make the team, and like congratulate Galen, Rupp, and Jared, and the females, that was, Amy, Desi, and Shalane. It's going to be fun, but we just, a lot of people love to be in our position. We're just blessed to be here.
So, Amy? You said it all. We've got two incredible teams going to Rio, so I'm really excited to get out there and represent. 4 years ago, it was pretty heartbreaking finishing fourth. I worked really, really hard for the last 4 years to move up one position. And I'm so excited to get out there and represent the United States in Rio.
Wow. Yeah, what an opportunity. My heart goes out to all of the competitors in the race. It's been a dream of mine to compete at the Olympic trials and to be blessed to finish in the top three and have a chance to represent the country with other runners that I've looked up to and admired for years. Is really an opportunity, and given the quality of the field and the guys that we're racing against, these other guys that were close are friends, and so my heart goes out to them. But grateful for all of the support leading into this opportunity. None of us do this on our own. We have parents and siblings and coaches and friends and so many people. Family, wife and kids that make it possible, and so appreciate all of the support that I've had.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions. Remember, we have microphones, so we'll go start right here in the front.
Hey, Mev, congratulations. It was a little tough on the TV to tell exactly where you guys were at all times, but the last move from Rupp looked like it came in the USC campus, and that's where you said all along in your Bruin Blue that you were worried about USC campus.
That was, Tyler made a big move there on the penultimate lap. Coach Larson and I discussed about what's going to happen, and that was the decision making. And, we UCLA fight on, and I just said, this is it. You're going to hurt, and you're going to fight, you're going to go to the SC campus. And that's all I was thinking, and that's where the team's going to be made. And Tyler and Rupp and myself, Venture Ward, Jared was going to be able to come and be able to just make a move, and that was a deciding factor. But then on the last lap, that's why I said I had issues again. Couldn't show it, but I was struggling to throw up and going out. And then I just said, you just got to make that team. You just got to make that team, and Galen pulled it away from me, and and Tyler unfortunately was sacrificed a little bit there, but that's what racing is, and you got to measure it. And I'm like, maybe I went too early to be able to. Am I going to carry through? But my teammates from UCLA were there. They were giving me the gap, 30 seconds from third and 1 minute to go. And in fact, Scott Abbott, I was recruiting him for UCLA to come. He went to UCLA, and I remember those days. And they chanted UCLA flag over there for me, and just kept going with the homecoming. For me, just so many people that were pulling for me, and I feel blessed. They were just secure the team, and as we said the last time, going through Figueroa was just get that spot, because that's what my goal was.
You said you tried to recruit Galen to UCLA?
No, that was Scott
Oh,
Abbott.
okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll go here and then over to Barbara and then these two ladies.
I was a professional one, Galen.
Amy, some of us had to leave before the race is over, and the last we saw a lot of this, it was a two-person race with you and Shalane. Could you talk us through the remainder of the race, when she fell off, when you surged to the lead, whatever happened to break up the two of you?
So with the third, so we kind of started just running together like it was practice. We worked on this a lot. Like we worked really, really hard together. And on the third lap, I started going through a rough patch, and she kind of turned to me and she's like, "We've got this. Like we're gonna be right there for each other. You know, we're gonna get on the team because that's been our dream. It's not to get on the team ourselves. It's both of us there." So we were running together, and she got me through that rough patch. And then on the last lap, I think she kind of started going through a rough patch as well. And so it was the same thing. I was like, you know what? She did it for me. I'm going to do it for her. I'm going to get her through this. I'm going to try and talk her through it a little bit. And I think she was overheating a little bit. So we started kind of going through, and then with about a mile to go, I was keeping an eye on Des. I knew Kara wasn't far behind her, and that was not a position I wanted to be in, was the third, fourth position. With about a mile to go, I saw Des coming up, and that's when I decided I really needed to make a move, and so I went for it there.
And can you describe the scene at the finish where you're going to embrace Shalane and basically you're catching her as she collapses?
She put everything out there today. She worked so incredibly hard, and she's helped me so much the past 4 months. I've kind of just been hanging on to her. And today, it was one of the bravest, like most courageous runs I've ever seen. She was definitely something was going on, and I think she had to focus literally on every single step she was taking to get to the finish line, and she made it happen.
And let's also welcome Desi Linden, who is joining us on the stage. If we could go, I think Margaret's next.
The last 200 meters or so of that race was as happy as I have ever seen you. What was going through your mind?
You know, I always say, run to win, get the best out of yourself each time and every time. And you know, whether you lose by, 3 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, second place always is second place. And the crowd was phenomenal throughout, and they were chanting USA, USA, go Meb, go Meb. And a thrill of a lifetime, just like it was in Athens, just like it was in New York, just it was like in Boston and Houston 40 years ago. But this is homecoming almost for me, and I've seen so many teachers. My 7th grade PE teacher was there. Coach Larson is here. I didn't see so many people. Teammates from UCLA that I haven't seen many, many times. And everybody just having a co-sign with the run to win, Olympic ring, and things like that. It's just, I feel blessed. Believe it or not, I was a very shy kid. Didn't show probably the end, but sports does an amazing thing for me, gave me self-esteem, going through ESL, English as a second language, and things like that. Running has changed my life. And I feel so blessed to touch people's life, and I grab the United States flag. It was just a victory lap for me to be able to come. And knowing that I'm going to make the team, knowing that I'm, fourth time, like I said, my daughter Johanna and the United States and nieces, there's a lot of people that are, Ryan Shea wasn't my thought. I have ill mother, who was my second mom. There's Blaze from Dallas, who was 4 days, had a heart surgery. Those things are going in my mind, stuff. I have a niece who has pneumonia who's going to be here, but you just try to draw energy and be the best that you can and dig deep, and you got to celebrate life because we have this able body. A lot of people love to be in our position going through, and we have this able body. That's what I try to do, and that's why it was a happy moment for me. And there's a lot of people that love to be in my position, and they can't because illness, disease, and other things.
Okay, so we'll have an opening statement from you guys real quick, if you'll just, my thoughts about the race and open it.
That was the toughest 26.2 ever. It felt so much longer.
And I noticed she was kind of trailing off, which normally she was right by my side, stride for stride. And so I kind of looked and I asked her, I was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she was like, "No, I'm not." And she seemed like she was even struggling a little bit just to like say that. She was like, basically I was like, you've got this, you can do this, like one step at a time. And then I started telling her, I was like, 1 mile at a time, just get to the next water station. There were a couple times she's like, I'm not sure I can do this, and I just kept telling her she could do it. Like I know what she's made of. Like she's so tough. So I knew no matter how bad she was hurting, she could make it happen. I was a little nervous. I started noticing the last couple miles actually, like at first I thought she was kind of just going through a bad patch, which is very typical in marathons. And then before the last water stop, I kind of looked at her and she was turning bright red. And I knew the heat was getting to her. And so that's where I was like, I told her, I was like, I'm gonna get you a water bottle, dump the whole thing on your head. And so I handed her a water bottle. And that's when I started getting a little bit concerned, because once that starts happening, you never know if you're even going to finish. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll go here in the middle and then over to the side. Can we pass them here?
Sure.
There's a mic in the middle, so go ahead, sir, and then.
Okay, Desi, so you said it was part of your plan to let them go ahead of you. What was exactly that plan and how did that feel?
It wasn't necessarily let them go ahead of me. It was very dialed into what I felt I was capable of on the day, and kind of circled 540s as the magic number. They started picking up 535s and a little bit quicker even. And so I felt that was going to be unsustainable over the second half, and that's where you can kind of get in trouble. The heat was going to be way worse over the last hour of the race, and I wanted to be able to finish strong and close well, and I think that going with that pace at that point was doable for me. So.
Were you very worried with that many people ahead of you?
No, I mean, I feel like you just trust the plan, and you can't worry about out there. You just have to buy into it and be confident in it. And the marathon it's so tricky and so difficult, and yet it's so predictable. You know, after 20 miles, it's always the marathon. People fade and people come back. And if you made mistakes early, especially in the heat, they're magnified over that last part. And it held true today. So.
Okay, we'll go to Ma'am here and then you'll be next.
Ma'am? Not here. Hi, Ma'am.
Hey, Bonnie.
Speaking of conversation, there was a little bit of conversation between you and Galen when you were still running together. It looked at one point like you were telling him to give you some space. At another point, like maybe you wanted to do a little work. What was the conversation between the 23-time marathoner and the first-time marathoner?
It's not a track, the road is open. It was not a very friendly conversation. Because there've been other people who in the track that stay tight right on you and clip you from behind. I had a really tight hamstring and going through the race and things like that, and bumped into me a few times. And I'm like, dude, open up and go to whatever you want, and if you want to take the lead, take the lead. If you need to go on the side, go on the side versus, so it was that kind of where I was, on the track. I knew that was coming because I know what he has done in the past is, run the rail and things like that. So that was the conversation, and we didn't have much of a dialogue about the gesture to say, hey, take the lead or stand aside or.
You guys gonna be able to fix this before Rio?
It's teammates, and we look forward to. I just like, you saw me a lot in the front, the lead, because there's so many bump into each other. Luke did it a few times, and Ed Torres used to do it all the time. So I'm used to it, and but at the same time, because you go in nice cadence, you don't know what you have from behind, and somebody kicks you, and you mess up your strides, you mess up your cadence, and commit to injury. So that's what it was.
Okay, we're going to take one quick moment. Galen Rupp has joined us on the stage, so if we could have an opening statement from you. And pass the mic down, please, and then we'll swing on to this side of the room for some questions.
Well, obviously, I'm just thrilled with the way the race went. It's a tremendous honor to be able to represent your country in an Olympic Games. So I'm just thrilled that I was able to cross the line in first. It was definitely difficult out there. There were a lot of great competitors, and it was a tough race, given all the conditions. But I was really happy, and I just want to say congratulations to Mev and Jared. You guys ran great, and I think we got a good team going to Rio.
Matt, you mentioned cramping a couple times. You mentioned cramping around halfway and then having to sort of not throw up later on. Can you clarify what exactly was happening?
Basically, for the first 13, 14 miles, I had a cramp on my left side, and I went on the lead because of the turns, and definitely was struggling. It's going to be hot, and the warm-up, I felt like, I don't know if the day is it, just to make the team, and just basically struggle. That's what marathon goes through, and about 14 or 15 is when kind of got a little bit of release, and I'm like, every time, trying to make a turn, and it irritates, but then after that, it kind of loosened up, and basically said, okay, I think I feel good. It's a perfect time, I'm 40 years old, maybe it takes me a while to warm up and get going, and basically just said, okay, now it's just make the team. It's not about winning, and when basically going through the SC campus penultimate lap, there was a move was made, and kind of went, and actually when Galen made a move there, I really felt like I have this issue throwing up, and almost came out a couple of times, but I couldn't show it. just dig deep and going, and basically wanted to get a Figueroa, and there, just trying to make a move. So it was, last 2 miles was a little rough for me, but just happy to be on the team.
When you say cramping on the left side, can you specify where?
Right, below my ribs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you sir?
This question's for Jared. From about mile 15 to mile 19, when Tyler started taking it out a little bit and Galen and Bev went with him, you had about 15-second gap at one point between you and third place. What were you thinking? What was your strategy? How did you feel at that time? Were you confident you were going to be able to come back?
My decision to not cover the move was based on just me feeling like I couldn't make it going that fast. And so when they're pulling away, I'm watching them, hoping that somebody comes back, but just trying to keep myself in contention and in position. You look at mile 18, 19 in a marathon, even mile 16 where the move was originally made, as we're getting towards the end of the race, but there's still 8-10 miles, which is a long ways, and it's even longer in the heat. So, the plan and with Coach was just to be patient and manage our fluids and kind of and see, keep the pace going. And so, I don't know that I had an inclination on whether someone was going to come back or not, but I felt like I was going to finish the race as fast as I could and see what happened.
More questions? No questions? Right here?
Galen, can you talk, you brought up a real interesting possibility of possibly competing in the 10,000 meter and the marathon. Can you just talk about how you feel like you're going to go forward thinking about the two and maybe the possibility of it?
Yeah, I mean, the first step obviously was to qualify for this. I didn't want to get ahead of myself, and everything leading up to this was all about the marathon. And I think that the doubling, the way the schedule is definitely a real possibility. I think that the 10,000 still might be my better event. I don't know. I think that this is kind of an interesting build-up because I definitely want to come back and try to run World Indoors in my hometown in Portland, Oregon. And so, we had to do the marathon stuff. I had to do enough speed work to keep, enable me to be able to come back after this and continue to sprint. We didn't want to start from scratch with that. But I think that a double in Rio is certainly possible. There's a lot of time between the 10K and the marathon. And, 10K is a shorter event. If the marathon was first, I think it would pretty much be impossible to double back from that. But the fact that the 10K is first, I can give it all in that. And then either come back in the 5K or the marathon. There's still a lot of time between now and the summer, and I'm just gonna take some time and enjoy this one, and then get ready for World Indoors, take a break, rest up, and then just see how my training goes from there.
Okay, I think we have one first up.
This question's for Galen. After the race, I talked to Kara Goucher, and she had some very pointed comments about your group and you and Alberto in particular. And I guess it's just best to quote what she said. She said, "Justice is coming. Do you think everything I know came out in that BBC documentary? No. There's an investigation going on. And I've done all I can do at this point. I believe in Travis Tiger. I don't wish them ill will. I just want them to stop doing what they're doing. You know there will be a day when it all comes out, and I'll be like I told you so." So, do you care to comment about that? And are you worried about the USADA investigation?
Well, I think all I can say is that I've always been an advocate for clean sport. I've worked really hard over the years to get where I'm at today. And I'm cooperating with whatever officials I need to cooperate with. And that's really all it is.
Okay, we'll move this way, to down front.
I can do it without the microphone.
Okay, go ahead.
Amy, in October you were probably at the very bottom after the 10-mile championship. And then you moved to Portland and trained with Shalane. Tell us how it feels at this point in time. I mean, I've never seen, I thought your whole face was a grin when you were finishing, smiling. How much difference, preparation-wise, and how much difference does this make today as opposed to 4 years ago?
How much?
Difference to you, I mean, how do you feel through the whole thing? I mean, how the process you got here?
I feel absolutely incredible. I did move out to Portland 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and basically I just got straight into training with Shalane. I was originally planning on doing a fall marathon, and I decided it was basically to give me confidence after Boston. Boston did not go well this past year, and so I just knew training with Shalane, that would give me all the confidence I need going into this one. And so I nixed that, took some time off, which is, I really, really needed it, and then just got to work. And so it's been a really incredible experience, and I'm absolutely thrilled.
Okay, it's the woman here in the green, and then we'll go to the gentleman in the blue shirt in the back.
This is the Desi. It looked like you were running by yourself pretty much from 16 on. And it was obvious Amy and Shalane gathered a lot of strength by being with each other. And I wondered how that affected you, that you were, the last 10 miles, you were on your own completely. How was that?
I'm prepared for it. I mean, I do group training with Hanson's Brooks, and I have a bunch of great teammates, but ultimately I'm at a place where I have to do a lot of the work by myself. And I think when you have a race strategy, like my race strategy, it's you just have to follow your own plans. So even if I had a teammate, if our goals were different, or if our race plans and racing styles are different, you still have to be able to get it done on your own, and I'm just patient about it. And it's something I've done for a long time, so I felt comfortable and confident.
Jared, apparently you wrote your master's thesis on optimal pacing in the marathon. I'm wondering what you learned from that and how you applied it today when it was not 50 degrees, but quite a bit more.
So the research said that the more elite runners do a better job at taking advantage of hills, like downhills faster, and run the uphills a little bit slower, and they are more conservative in their start and finish faster, which isn't too surprising. But in terms of approaching a race like today where it's hot, it effectively lengthens the race. It turns a 26.2 mile marathon into something that is longer, and so you take that conservative approach even a little bit more extreme, and make sure that you're running within yourself. So I guess that's what I'd say.
All the way down here, and then over here.
This is for the guys. if the slower early pace had sort of played out for much longer, it would have brought more athletes into maybe the mix for the outcome, for the end. Was there almost a sort of masochistic relief when Tyler took some initiative and helped you guys create some separation?
Made me nervous.
I mean, I was just really in the beginning of the race, I was just trying to conserve as much energy as possible. Obviously, conditions were pretty rough out there. I know that there's a lot of great guys, and this is my first time running a marathon, and so I didn't know what to expect those last few miles. So everybody I talked to told me, you know, it's gonna feel easy at the start, but it'll hit you at some point, and it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks. So the more energy you can conserve in the beginning, the better. After halfway, you know, I thought that I needed to cover any move, and so obviously that was a big one and really broke up the group, and I just tried to close it as gradually and as possible.
Did you ever get hit by a ton of bricks?
I ended up filling up all right. You know, obviously it was hot out there, and he caught up to me, but you know, I thought I handled it really well, and I was really pleased with my preparation.
Well, when Tyler made the move and Galen was there, those were guys, the sub 4 minute guys. So I was like, well, I think I was once I ran 3:42 for 1500 meter. I'm keeping up with these guys. So, you know, it was just nice change of pace for once, but you know, just got to get to that finish line, and Tyler made that race. I mean, to make the Olympic team, that was a deciding factor, and obviously we always know that 5 guys go, 3 guys go, one's gonna falter, and he did. That's what racing is, but at the same time, you gotta cover those moves if you want to be on the team, or use your thesis to be able to. And that's why I told him that your thesis paid off when he finished the finish line. But that's what racing is.
Okay. We can start there. And also, we're going to take 4 more questions after this, okay?
Question first for Amy, and then a quick one for Jared. Amy, when you started to really move after you knew Shalane, you're pretty sure Shalane was going to finish, how did it feel to back up on your toes and start moving again?
It hurt so bad. I knew I was feeling really good, and so I was very confident I could get to the finish line. I felt, I don't know, I didn't realize how bad it was gonna hurt, and then I was just like, hold it together the rest of the time. And I don't know what that last mile was, but it felt blazing fast. So, yeah.
And Jared, did Coach ever talk to you about his experiences with the heat in '92? Does that play into any of your preparations or kind of mental preparations?
Sure. You know, Coach was a tough runner, and that's what he'll tell me. He'll say, you know, we train to get really, really fit, and then we run tough. And at the end of the race, it is tough. And at the end of a hot marathon like that, and it's the faces of my family and those people that I love and those who have invested so much in my athletic journey that are popping into my face over that last 600, and trying to run like a horse but not die. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have a question down front.
This is a question, first with Galen, but if all of you could just, except for Meb, could just make a brief comment about your opinion of Meb. I hope we see you in 4 more years at another Olympic trials, but just in case this is your last Olympic trials, you know, you've had a great career, so congratulations. And so starting with Galen, if you guys could just, each of you, just say what you, if you know what your opinion is of Meb.
You know, obviously he's a tremendous competitor, and I think that it really speaks volumes about him and his coach that they've been consistently good for so long. You know, he never really has a bad race ever. He's always right up there, and he's always a tough competitor. And you know, the great races he's had over the years and the consistency, I think, are the biggest things that stick out to me, and they're definitely to be admired.
Let's just go straight down the line, Amy.
Meb is an incredible athlete, and that pales into comparison to how wonderful of a person he is. I was teammates with him for 4 years in Mammoth Lakes, California, and he was the guy where when you'd show up at practice and you were having a rough day or whatever, he was the one who would kind of like go to the side and make sure you were doing okay. Like, he truly is just a wonderful person. He believed in me and saw something in me way before anyone should have, and he's always encouraged me, and he's wonderful.
Yeah, sorry. Right? Meb is nice to everybody. He, even early in race, I had my first race against Meb. After the race, talked to me, and then in the airport, came up, called me by name, and he's a very good people's person. In fact, just at the Dallas Half Marathon Road to Rio thing that we were at, I was cooling down with Abdi, and Meb is up giving everyone in the marathon high fives as they're running past the half marathon, and Abdi says, "There goes Meb again." But he really, he exemplifies just such a positive personality, and I think that if I was guessing, I would say that that's given him a lot of balance in his life. It's something that I hope to have in my life and in my running career as well. But looking forward to being able to spend some time with all of these guys, with Galen as well, and with the girls on this Olympic team. A lot of people that I've looked up to for a long time, and an opportunity for me to kind of spend some time with some heroes of mine and get to know them better.
Hero's a good word. Meb's the epitome of a hero. I think he's Mr. Consistency. He's put your head down and go grind it out. And he's been with his team for a long time. He obviously trusts in them, and he's just very loyal, good guy. I think he's what we strive to be. It's an amazing model for us to look up to, and we're super lucky to have him. And I think there's great athletes, there's incredible competitors, and Meb's a hero.
And with that, I don't know if there's a better way to close. So, congratulate these wonderful athletes and